Hi, guys. So I'm sure you remember this encounter that took place between the great George Carlin and some right-wing asshole on Bill Maher's show. I want to take a look at this clip because it's really important, as to where we are today. Because George Carlin was like not just a great comedian, not a, number one at his game, okay? But he was kind of like a priest, shaman, prophet dude. Which is really bizarre because, one of the few people that could take, sociology, psychology, anthropology, and history and weave them all into comedy the way this guy did. All right. And so, he stated it in this video, that we were on our way to Neo-Fascism. And if history is prologue, we're in a lot of goddamn trouble. So anyway, and what you'll notice in this, you'll see, the dick Bill Maher, make a comment like, when George makes his statement, the audience reacts and Bill Maher goes like, oh, no, because he's not that. He was never a progressive, Bill Maher. Okay, just want to shock you with that one. He's not on your side. Okay, he's totally out for himself. He's some kind of weird right-wing libertarian or whatever it is, he's about like, pot, like he wants everybody to be able to smoke pot, but he's also for war. Okay, so, that's what his deal is. And so he's a total fraud. He's like a third-rate comedian. If it's not written down for him, he doesn't know what to say. You know that, right? But anyway, let's check out this clip.
The real looting in this country takes place in the transfer of the wealth from the poor to the rich. I'm sorry that you don't like class and the truth, my friend, but you're just stuck with it. Class is bad, and the poor have been systematically looted in this country. The rich have been made richer under this criminal, fascist president and his government.
Okay. George, I think do you know what fascism is?
Fascism,
you know what fascism is?
To America,
you know what Nazis are?
Wait, sir. When fascism comes to America, it will not be in brown and black shirts. It will not be with jack boots. It will be Nike sneakers and smiley shirts. Smiley. The fascism. Germany lost the Second World War. Fascism won it. Believe me.
Germany lost the Second World War. Fascism won it. Oh, shit. Slap down. Okay? Pretty much just, telling us. He's like a soothsayer, this guy. He's like, like reading the future because we're there right now, as you know. And so here's a clip from, what's her name? Guilfoyle? Okay, the crazy lady at the Neo-Fascist convention recently. And just gives you an indication as to how scary things are going to be, okay?
Stand for an American president who is fearless, who believes in you, and who loves this country. Ladies and gentlemen, leaders and fighters for freedom and liberty, the best is yet to come.
Okay, so like all that rhetoric there about like freedom and liberty and the best is yet to come, that's all fascist shit, man. You can look it up. People write about it. I'm going to prove it to you in a minute. But I want to go on and take a listen to Donald Trump Jr. Imagine being Donald Trump Jr.
My father's entire worldview revolves around the idea that we can always do even better. Imagine the life you want to have. One with a great job, a beautiful home, a perfect family. You can have it. Imagine the country you want to live in. One with true equal opportunity, where hard work pays off and justice is served with compassion and without partiality. You can have it. Imagine a world where the evils of communism and radical Islamic terrorism are not given a chance to spread.
The promise of a new economy. The elimination of the radical left. Somebody wrote that for him. It had to be Steve Miller. The fascist dude. The neo, what is he, a neo-Nazi? I don't know. It's kind of weird. But anyway, all of those people in the White House with Trump, and they're prepping these speeches because certainly it wasn't Donald Trump Jr. Okay? But anyway, so I found this article specifically on the point that I just made. And what it says is here, how journalists covered the rise of Mussolini and Hitler. Reports on the rise of fascism in Europe were not the American media's finest hour. I wonder why not. Well, it goes on to tell us that acknowledging that the new fascisti movement was a bit rough in its methods, papers ranging from the New York Tribune to the Cleveland Plain Dealer to the Chicago Tribune credited it with saving Italy from the far left and revitalizing its economy. That's a coincidence. From their perspective, the post-World War I surge, anti-capitalism in Europe was a vastly worse threat than fascism. Okay? So what that's telling us is that capitalism and fascism are in bed together, and they always have been. All right? So here's another point to make. This is Pat Lynch, okay, the head of the police union there in New York. Remember that the police budget in New York City is $6 billion a year, okay? I mean, that's more than like countries have, that they invest in their armies around the world. $6 billion a year in a police force. All right? Scary. Here we go.
I cannot remember when we've ever endorsed for the office of President of the United States until now. That's how important this is. Mr. President, we're fighting for our lives out there. We don't want this to spread to the rest of the country. We need your strong voice.
There you go. More neo-fascist rhetoric. Strong man, strong voice. We need your strong voice to protect us so that we can do whatever we want out there. If we need to shoot people, we can shoot people. Like whatever it is. And, also to make sure that we get our pensions and everything and we get out clean, we can move to Florida and live, our lives in peace. Okay? So, like, if you're going to do that for us, we are going to, get behind you, Mr. Trump, because you are for us. And we got it. We don't give a shit about the public. All we want is ours. That's all that matters. Okay. My comment on that is remember this, okay? That at the end of the day, Trump is not the cause of this. He's a bumbling idiot. He's not the cause of this, okay? He's the symptom. After decades of neoliberalism opening the door to neo-fascism, okay? Or absolutely culminating with Bill Clinton, right? The Dems went further and further into the hands of Wall Street, okay? Totally negating the American worker, which is what, the party was built on, at least under FDR, if you remember correctly. All right? But also remember that recently, Trump never mentions, okay, and this is another sign of neo-fascism and, where this man's heart really lies, which is in the alt-right, okay? He never mentions Breonna Taylor, Jacob Blake, George Floyd, right? But he defends Rittenhouse, the Kenosha killer. And he says, rest in peace to Jay, okay? Who was part of one of these militia units out there in Portland who bled out on the street in our last video. That dude, right? He says, rest in peace. I have a tweet from AOC, okay, addressing the whole Pat Lynch thing, Pat Lynch is just, like I said, the head of the union there in New York, looking out for his own. That's all it's about, because the cops don't give a shit about us. He's looking out for his own, okay? And she says the NYPD union endorsed Trump. I'm sure this is part of their neighborhood outreach plan. Also, does anyone see a potential problem with police unions, enforcement arms of the state with lethal weapons, promoting preferred candidates for office? Or is that just me? Okay, now that's a good point. I mean, you can, criticize AOC all you want. I got it. But she is a voice of reason. You can't argue with that. Promoting candidates, never before in the history of the NYPD. Police departments don't do that, but they're doing it now. Because America we are slipping very quickly into neo-fascism.